I'm here to show you the Melbourne Instruments latest synth, the DELIA. And our first one was a 12-voice pure analog synth. And of course, our main kind of cool thing is the motorized controllers, so that all the patch recall is completely, everything's always where it should be. And you can also use that motorization to set up the modulation matrix in a very nice intuitive way. You press mod, and basically each control now sort of represents how much it's affected by each of the sources. So each button here then, so I can see if I press the key source, which is like whatever note you're playing, see it's mapped to the tuning, which obviously makes the notes up and down in pitches to play the things. And then you look at the LFOs, and you can see what they're doing. I can see the LFOs affecting the tuning there, and a little bit of the other one. And the other thing is, of course, it's really good not just for patch recall, but especially when you have multi-timbre operation, because you can flick between the two different sounds that you're trying to work with, and all the controls jump immediately. It's great for live performance. And then, what is it? Well, DELIA is a hybrid synth, so it's an analog at the back end. It's got true analog filters with a kind of analog overdrive into the filters. The most important part of the sound character comes from the final stage. And then before that is digital. So we've got 4 oscillators, but it's a sort of interesting setup. So the first 2 oscillators are your typical kind of old school analog synth style, triangle, saw, square, mixed pulse. And then the third, so what we've got here is because the controls are motorized, and you press 1 and 2, so this is controlling the first 2 oscillators. And when you press 3 and 4, but oscillator 3 is a wavetable, which is really gives a whole different palette to creating these kind of nice, lovely wavetable-y sounds mixed in with a bit of very old Moog Voyager style sounds. And then the fourth oscillator is kind of a little bit of a mixed bag. It can either be noise, or it can be audio in from the external inputs, or it can be a loop back from the audio out to create kind of crazy feedback. And also a ring mod of the first 2 oscillators. But it also has a 16-step sequencer, and it's also a phrase looper. Oh, and I forgot one very important feature, which is that the morph. So each patch preset has actually 2 sounds in it, and when you turn the morph, then it morphs the sound continuously between those 2 sounds. So you can browse through and load any sound from the preset library into the sort of the B slot, and then you can smoothly interpolate and find all kinds of interesting sonic possibilities in between the 2. Once you got it set up, you can also have the morph as a modulation destination, so you could have an LFO morphing the sound, or an envelope. And there's a couple of effects generators. They're digital effects. There's chorus, delay, and reverb, and you can have 2 of them. You can put them in parallel or in series through the menus. Oh, here's a nice fat sort of saw with strings. That's where I started. Harrison.
Oh, no, I can write it.
We've got almost 400 presets in it. This year of the show, we've got about 130 at the moment on there. That's DELIA.